already greeting us as we're about to head into our game number 3 between 3DB and Wham01. And here we go. It's going to be on Rocky Canyon's Abbasid Dynasty here for 3DB in the orange. On the opposite side, we see Wham01 in the blue playing as the Chinese.
Yeah, and this is where early on, I always just love looking at the spawns for the Chinese specifically. Where's that Barbican placement going to be? Where's the potential vulnerability? Because typically, Chinese is a civilization that you can't just let sit back and go, hey, we'll meet you 15, 20 minutes in, because then you're just asking for a loss.
I like the macro here from Wham actually early on the Chinese. You saw how he managed to kill a couple of these sheep early on next to his mill without actually dropping off the wood that the villagers were carrying from the straggler tree. That was really, really nice from him. Means that there's a little bit of less idle time with the villagers once they go for like that killing the sheep animation. And yeah, it just gives you a little bit of extra efficiency early on. These kind of things they're really niche and they're not really necessary, but I love seeing them every single time they happen.
Well, they're not really necessary unless you want to be one of the top players. And that's one of the things that really sets apart the top players from the next level. It's not one big thing. It's 15 of these tiny little minuscule things that they do better. But that all combines together to just be obviously why they are in the top. They are trying to fight for their next spot and fight to play the next Spanish brother.
Exactly. If you optimize like 100 little things and everything gives you like half a second of an advantage, it means that you potentially age up like a minute earlier than your opponent, and that stacks up, as you said. And so far, 3DB, it's going to be interesting to see with what wing he's going to be opening up with. Now, we've seen him go for unorthodox playstyles before, but surely, this is going to be an economy wing, right?
That's my guess, but that's always my thing. It's a guess when it comes to 3DB. There's some players that it wouldn't be a guess. I'd be like, it's Eco Wing. We know this is coming. But with 3DB, it is, these percentages tilt a little bit up, but he proves to just go with the meta on this one and going with the economy wing.
All right, so this time not going to be a caster curse, and it's going to be the Eco Wing, as you said. So that's quite nice for him here. I could have also seen a trade wing here. I mean, on this map, the trade posts do spawn in quite a nice way, and especially against China, they're not going to be pressuring too early on in the game. Yeah, no, it's going to be the Eco Wing, and so multiple TCs definitely going to be coming out here from B in the near future.
Even if they don't pressure, they can make that transition easier. But that's one of the things that I always like to talk about is like when you're forcing your opponent to go off of their norm, go off of what they wanted to do, it always speaks for itself because that gets them uncomfortable. Their game plan's different. They just don't get to play how they always play. And Trade Wing is one of the things that does that. You have to deny it or else you might just find yourself getting absolutely demolished with Trade Eco behind.
Sheep count now under the mill from Wham. Does mean that he's going to have a lot of food to work with in this game early on. Now B, he's playing as the Abbasid. He's not too reliant on these sheep early on. He does have his berries, and yeah, looks to be going for a really, really fast second TC timing here. We do see that he's not on gold anymore, only has enough gold for the Fertile Crescent upgrade from his House of Wisdom, so it's not going to be a fast wheelbarrow build, but that means that the second TC is going to be coming in really, really quickly in this one.
Yeah, very, very fast, and also kind of delaying up the fresh foodstuffs until it's actually useful, and it really becomes useful when you have multiple TCs. The question is he going to go 2 or is he going to go 3? If he ends up going 3, typically the play is for the Abbasid to drop their secondary TC right there next to the stone and then move out for their third TC somewhere like the Deer Berries north side of his wood line.
Exactly, as you said. It used to be the case that China could go for a really nice Juggernaut timing push if Abbasid go for the greed and go for that third TC. But ever since the update in the season and the rework of the Abbasid Dynasty, or rather the rework of the House of Wisdom, with the Fertile Crescent, with the boost to the cost of the TCs, it's not become as nice of a timing anymore for the Chinese. And now we see Wham moving out with a couple of villagers, probably wants to drop his Barbican next to those deer. It's going to secure him another food source there. Only moves up with 3 villagers, so the timing is for a Song Dynasty here is a little bit delayed from him.
Ooh, and the secondary TC for B is actually going where I expected his third to go if he is going for a third. That being said, he might just go for a typical 2 TC play if he doesn't spot one out coming from Wham.
Yeah, Wham trying to deny some of these deer, or at least lure them a little bit further away, but B is being active with his villagers while building his TC. He's also killing the deer around it. It's a little bit of an efficiency boost for him. Very nice. And yeah, it's going to be looking quite nicely for him. He could also still opt into a third TC. It's going to be a little bit more exposed on the stone, but definitely still an option here for him. Barbican of the Sun about to finish up here for Wham, and second TC timing. Looking to be pretty good as he's already moving out to stone with a lot of villagers. Are these 10 villagers? If it's 10, then he only needs 3 drop-offs.
Yeah, and so that's one of those, just I love the timing coming in from Wham, but at the same time, I love 3DB's vision that he has. He spots it out exactly when he moves out, so knows and can plan to counteract this TC efficiently. And what does he do? That is when he waits and he moves back out for a third.
Yeah, I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? He just finished that new TC, and all the villagers there are going to be able to immediately go over to food, so he's just going to be able to pull the villagers that he had on the berries and go back to stone, and it just works so beautifully there for him, and now the third TC is going to come into play here for him. Should probably drop that next to the gold, next to the wood line, and just secure his gold income there. And yeah, now he's on gold again, so we're probably going to be seeing fresh food stuff soon, unless he's already gotten it.
Yeah, I would expect fresh foodstuffs, as well as I would kind of expect like a tiny bit of just annoyance pressure, and probably just skipping over to Castle Age pretty quickly if I had to guess. But it doesn't always play out like that, as you have to react. If any heavy pressure comes on, you cannot take it too lightly, or else you could just be finding yourself calling game.
Now, second TC coming out here from Wham, and that's a really nice spot. It means that he's not going to be skipping out on the supervision from the Imperial official, but still is going to give him some map control here and going to protect some of these resources. So I like the positioning here for him, and now the TC is going to go up here next to the gold, next to the wood line. Is going to give him protected income for the gold, means that he's going to be safe to go up when he pleases. And now Wham, looking to drop some production buildings. Looks like it's potentially still going to be a push in H2 from Wham.
Yeah, and I love what you had just mentioned about that TC from Wham. It's one of the things that people who don't play China don't really make that realization a lot. They'll usually drop that TC right on top of the deer, just like every other Civ does, to just have that nice efficiency. But you don't want the deer right on your TC as China. You want it on a mill because you want that juicy supervision. You're actually utilizing the resources for what they should be and optimizing it.
Yeah, exactly. If you build the TC right on top of the deer, it's like throwing away 600 resources, just in terms of the extra resource that you get from the deer, in terms of the food, as well as the tax that you're getting. So it's like 600 resources that you're throwing away. That's almost 2 additional deer right there, and makes a lot of sense to place a TC in such a way for Wham. I really like the play here from him there.
Yep. And now we're starting to see, it's like these eco numbers, they're basically dead even. And it's always kind of funny with this matchup. 2 TC Song and 3 TC Abba always kind of ends up very even on the eco numbers. And really where China can get the leg up is sometimes having this nice castle timing that they're fast building, or if they want to go harder into this feudal pressure, they have access to the chooks, which Abba can struggle to deal with at times.
B being cheeky here, making sure to delete one of the palisade segments there from Wham. Wham's gonna have to be careful here with building them, but now Shuganu is out there. Scout is gonna have to retreat. Now numbers are gonna start to climb here for Wham. And B, he needs to think about a fast transition to Castle Age if he wants to go for it. Else once the pressure comes in and he's not up to Castle Age yet, it's gonna be really difficult here for B, but looks like he's macroing towards that Castle Age soon here.
Yeah, that's exactly what he is planning to do, and B, he'll be able to fast build that so quickly, Wham would be able to fast build that quickly. B, he's going to have to wait 1:45, so even though he clicks up this timing, they're going to have it at a very similar timing, just due to Wham's efficiency on the building.
Yeah, it looks like Wham has also stopped investing into military right now. With 5 military, he's not getting anything done right now, just because all the resources from B, they're all completely protected. Military wing is now coming in, but soon Wham is also going to be going up to the next age. So, as you said, similar timing is going to be coming in. And in the end, though, behind this, B should be in a really good position here right now, just because his villagers, they cost less. And overall, he should be making more villagers at a time than Wham is out of his 2 TCs with Song.
Yeah, so Wham, very, very proactive with his walls, and look at his side. He's almost got the whole entire eastern side walled. I said at the very beginning of the game, the time this opens up is Castle Age. That's when you'll start seeing these raids come through. You'll have to start expanding out to some of your other resources, and Wham, he's not going to have to worry about a lot of this map if he gets these walls fully completed.
Astronomical clock tower is now being built here by Wham. So yeah, timing's going to be very similar, if not maybe even potentially a little bit Wham favored here, just because he's building it with 7 villagers. Chinese obviously building that quite a bit faster than other civs, and yeah, looking good so far for him. I mean, there's not been too much pressure from B, and China in the later stages of the game should, in theory, be favored there when it comes to the position overall.
Yep. We're starting to see B try to push out. Chooks are taking the fight. Couple horsemen circling, but there's some spears on the way. Finally seeing some military clashes at the 11-minute mark in this game as the Castle Age finishes and comes through for Wham.
Military wing just 10 seconds behind. Both players looking really even right now. Palace Gun's gonna be the weapon of choice here for Wham, it looks like. But B already has some archery ranges, so could definitely just go into some crossbows here to counter that out. And Knights potentially as well. Does start out with 2 of the Camel Riders, and now Mosque looks to be built immediately, trying to compete for the relics. And relics are going to be really important when you're playing against the Chinese. If China goes to Yuan Dynasty with 3 relics, man, pagodas are built differently.
Pagodas are indeed built differently. It is wild on how many resources you get over time, and this is a game that time could be a factor. It could definitely extend out, so the earlier you can get those, the longer you can get those, the better. And it looks like 3DB is the one trying to push out and take the map control, whereas Wham's the one who is content with kind of walling himself in first.
Yeah, Wham is definitely content with just playing this a long game. He knows he's been multiple times on the opposite side here when it comes to the matchup, playing against the Chinese. And I mean, gotta look at it this way right now. I mean, B, he's not ahead by too many villages right now, considering that he's on 3 TC and Wham, in theory, is only on 2.5.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of one where, like, the longer this goes, you should see B to extend that Vil lead, but there's other ways now that there's so many different things that Castle Age opens up on how you can get advantage, as we also see B forcing Wham away from one of these deer locations.
Yeah, but it looks like B is going to be falling back now, as he does realize that Wham is trying to contest these relics.
Attempting to, and B has moved out on the map on the eastern side, taken some berries as well, taken some of these other pocket resources, which is really crucial for these mid-game timings, because if you have to transition into farms, you just lose so much momentum, and momentum is key right now when you're talking about securing up the relics, securing up this mid-map control, and maybe even getting a keep down later on.
Yeah, Delhi and the Bassett have a really nice way of getting food here on this map with all of the berries that are in the middle. Means, though, that you need map control in order to access them, but once you have the map control, it's looking really good for you. And B, he's messing up a lot of archers right now as well. I like the idea of going for archers against Chinese, because the Palace Guards, they have less pierce armor, or less armor in general than any other man-at-arms in the game.
Yeah, a lot of times I find that Chinese wants to stick to like an infantry nest of bees composition, and archers trades really well into all the infantry, not the nest of bees, but you have other ways that you can deal with that.
Relics now being gathered by both players. Wham, though, loses one of his monks there early on. Outpost going up in the middle. That's a lot of map control for B that he's gaining here right now.
Yeah, just moving out to some more of those pocket resources right after we were talking about those, but not sure if he's going to be able to actually safely gather from those berries, as it is right in front of Wham's base and easily going to be able to be focused down.
Relics looking good for B right now. He's got the 3rd relic in his base right now. If he gets a 4th one, that's going to put Wham on only a single relic. That's going to make it difficult for him in this game, should go to the longer stages.
Lancer numbers starting to climb for 3DB though, but at the same time, crossbows are doing the same. Archer's doing a great job though, focusing those backside crossbows, and the Palace Guards maybe not taking the most exciting fight against those Lancers on the front, and not a great fight for Wham here of the Chinese.
Yeah, I mean, B looking definitely super solid here. That Priest also isn't getting that relic back. Was close though, some of the charges looked a little bit funky there, but yeah, I mean, looking really good for B right now, and Wham, he doesn't even have a single blacksmith upgrade.
Yeah, that first fight just went so well for B, and it looks like B is planning on trying to break on through. I think the first thing he was dropping was going to be Springalds to counteract the nest of bees that was out. He might have to cancel that though. Oh, so much damage. One more shot and it's gonna die.
And shot is coming through. Also
it finishes just in time.
But that's from a clock tower, so another shot goes out. Springer goes out, and the Nest of Bees gets saved. Oh, no! Oh, so close.
I think one of those Lancers threw their sword at the Nest of Bees to finish it on off. Another Springald being dropped right in this vision range, and Wham just doesn't have the necessary military to contest this. That fight went so bad for him just before that.
Yeah, looking at the military count right now, 46 to 18, and B, he's building on the aggression here right now in the front. It's looking dangerous. Now more and more Springalds are getting out, so he definitely has an answer to the Nest of Bees from Wham right now.
Yeah, and this is where Wham, we see his granary transition. He almost has 2 full sets of granaries. What's B doing? He's on all these pocket berries all throughout the map. He hasn't had to make this farm transition that Wham has been forced to.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the food income still looks good for Wham overall. He just needs to translate it into more military right now, because B, look at the archer count from him right now. 31 archers, 60 knights. This is truly frightening of an army right now, especially considering the units that Wham has right now might actually need a keep here or something in order to stabilize, in order to keep B out of his base. But easier said than done, because, man, 19 lances on the field, Men-at-Arms aren't going to be able to deal with that.
Not at all. Nest of Bees really need to get some good connections before the Springalds can close the gap. And I love also B, the side effect to expanding to those berries is the outpost, is the vision. It doesn't allow Wham to go for any raiding, although he hasn't really even been able to do so. With the Masset at his base, the Springalds are just moving forward, and Wham, he's constantly just moving back further and further and leading them right to those woodline vills.
Yeah, he's trying to kite a little bit with the crossbows, gets a couple of these knight picks, but now he's trying to engage, and I mean, he does have the Barbican here, but the Barbican, it takes like 9 seconds in order to kill a single archer right now. That's not going to help him out here. And if he leaves the TC completely alone, potentially, he could just burn that TC down.
Yeah,
Siege in the back.
Burn the TC down, or just kill all the vills coming out of it. Nest of Bees turning to fire. Springalds do get a pickup on the other side. Wham loses a Springald, gets one in return though. Archers move up, firing down, but a huge double Nest of Bees shots finally hitting the archer side of 3DB. So Wham slowly doing what he needs to hold, but also taking damage throughout.
That Nest of Bee shot definitely saved Wham's butt right now. He was about to lose to all of the units right now, but now he's stabilized. All the knights, or most of the knights, have gone down, and Wham finally is going to be able to clean up the archers here. Has a lot of men-at-arms, and now there's no knights to deal with them. He's going to finally be able to say, B, get out of my base.
Yep, Springald should get taken down with it. Archers having to fall back. We see the monks from 3DB getting thrown in like reckless abandon. Crossbows going to clean up maybe the rest of those Lancers, and B getting forced on the back side, but still inside of Wham's base.
Yeah, and I feel like soon B might probably have to go for farm transition of his own. Now he does have the 4 Crescent, so is going to be able to get that farm transition for quite a bit cheaper than other civilizations would, or at least that Wham had to invest. And with agriculture as well, I mean, B is still going to have a really, really comparable and really good farm eco, if not even better than what the Chinese can go for. But yeah, B, right now, I feel like he has to leave. He can't stay here.
My question is, the only way he can stay here is if he goes maybe for a keep drop timing, but it's scary too with the 2 Nest of Bees. He doesn't have the siege priority, and Oh.
The gold.
Yeah.
Okay, I see. Yeah, that could work.
We both had the same reaction. We were like, what? Okay. Oh, no, he doesn't drop it on the outside of the gold. I guess an outpost would do just as good if he just wants to outpost and upgrade.
Yeah.
But not able to do so, and he is circling back around. I feel like he needs to fall back, like you were saying, get out of Wham's base, and make sure to do so before taking any further losses.
Wham finally gotten some of the blacksmith upgrades as well. Nest of Bees are gonna survive here. Springlets get taken down, and now B definitely has to leave.
Yeah, the two Nest of Bees now get to free fire with no worry in the world. The Knights can't close the gap on them, or Lancers can't close the gap, and the Nest of Bees gets a huge fire on that grouped up mass of archers.
Not as big as I would have imagined it to, and one Nest of Bee does go down here, but does lose a lot of Lancers for that. That was not worth it.
No, it's so weird, like, thinking about it, because you know, like, how crucial it is to pick up the Nest of Bees, and sometimes you feel if sending 5 Lancers for a Nest of Bees is worth it, but then you think about the resources, and then you're like, no, it wasn't actually worth it.
Some Knights now running around the backline here off Wham's base. I mean, B still has a really good lead right now when it comes to the eco units, and also income-wise, looking really solid right now, but Wham has been stabilizing here, and I mean, we saw in the game of Demu that China can make a lot of things happen in the late game, even if they're behind early on. B also has a ton of stone in the bank right now.
Yeah, B hasn't been able to make that full farm transition yet. He's actually walling in Wham on that eastern side that we saw with those villagers on the stone. So maybe that's what the stone's for, is he might just wall Wham in.
That could be a really strong play. No, actually, now he's
Cancels
building
it.
either a keep or an outpost there on that side, and yeah, units just right now teetering towards each other, and Trade Wing now coming out here from 3DB, so we're not going to be seeing a culturing at all. And as he's there, it is. There's the keep that we've been looking for.
That's what we expected to see earlier. If he gets that up, which he will, there's no way Wham's denying it. There's only going to be 2 gold veins left for Wham to gather from, and that's not too much as far as late game Chinese goes.
Shay has to fall back as the Spring Wolves teeter off towards it, and I mean, B, he still has a really good army lead here right now, but the Nest of Bees, it just makes it impossible for him to take any really great engagement.
And the Lancers here again! Why? No, don't do that! He felt like he needed to do it, but he's
in minimum range now. At least he's trading him off effectively.
Is he? I mean, the Nest of Bees move back. Now they'll be able to fire on off, and the rest of these units will get cleared out. Wham! He is ahead in the military count. He takes down the Trebuchet too.
Yeah, this is questionable. That was just questionable actions at best, but I guess he just wanted to get his low-quality units out before he's heading into Imperial, maybe? I'm not too sure. That was just weird there, but now, Wham, his farm transition is looking quite nice, but looking at B, his farm transition is nicer. Over 3,000 food per minute right now for B. Holy, all right.
He made a massive food transition behind this, and trade is about to come online, which also means that if Wham doesn't start moving out, it's going to get a lot worse for him too.
Yeah, but B, he's going to need to produce a ton here right now if he wants to make sure that that Wham isn't just going to steamroll over B right now. I mean, actually is holding now in the stealth forest. Wham doesn't have any information here. Military numbers are falling for him, and B actually managed to produce quite a lot after losing that initial mass right now, and he still has 2k stone in the bank right now.
Yeah, this is just one of those things I find with ABBA. When you're aging up, every other Civ, they're using Vills for age up. ABBA, they're all just continuing to act like business as usual, continuing to produce. Obviously want to wait to get the Imperial Age upgrades for some of the gold, but other than that, B's still sitting in a really, really fine situation with how much eco he has.
Yeah, and as you said, I mean, trade is going to be coming in now for him as well. He's sitting at almost 150 eco pep right now, but he's completely fine with that. But at the same time, Wham, he's going to be able to click up to Imperial Age any moment now as well, and it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to go for now. I mean, it's going to be a Great Wall Gatehouse in the middle, or yeah, it does look to be a Great Wall Gatehouse in the middle in order to secure some gold and also one of the wood lines.
Yeah, doing it a little bit out of range. Great Wall Gatehouse going up. That thing is, once the Great Wall Gatehouse goes up, it's basically untouchable. It does so much damage. You have to take it out by trebuchets, but Wham has other problems. There is a Lancer mass in his base, and those aren't just regular Lancers. Now, B, being Imperial Age, he's got those upgrades in.
Yeah, Elite Lancer, such a strong unit, and you definitely need to respect it. Now, the crossbows, there are a lot for Wham, but still, these Lancers have so much HP. You're gonna need a lot of crossbows to take them out in one shot.
Keeps firing out at each other. Looks like Wham, though, that little bit of a wall segment is proving to just be enough for the time being. Lancer's trying to dive forward. It's mainly Springles on the backside. Nestbees need to turn, maybe get a decent fire off. Not the greatest, but AoE still damage is still going to be better than nothing.
There's a keep there, but just the Lancers having so much HP now. Now we're used to China keeps just being incredibly strong. I mean, it still works here, but these knights, they still have a lot of HP. They can take a lot of shots, but now they finally do go down, and B once again loses his entire military, but looking at his income, he doesn't care about that.
Yeah, it's almost like when we were talking about English the games prior, where English just reinforcing with the men-at-arms mass, just able to remass back up so quickly. Same thing goes for ABBA right now with the farming eco B has set up.
All right.
Oh my
Trade
gosh.
also looking good here. Did B grab the... Yeah, B is also grabbing all the upgrades for his traders, so these traders are going to bring in more. They're going to have more armors soon as well, as that's probably the next upgrade coming up.
He needs to send them to the home market.
Yeah,
I think some of the back ones. I think some of the back ones might be queued up correctly.
Yeah, I mean the initial 5 that you get with the House of Wisdom,
There it is.
Yeah, that's the numbers that we're expecting. And B, he also set them to wood. He knows that wood in the later stages of the game is going to be important, especially in a map like this.
Nest of Bees setting up. Wham trying to do that Chinese thing we talked about earlier. Get that siege mass that's just too hard to deal with once it's all together. And Nest of Bees are the key to that.
Wham's also adding in some hand cannons. Now, Chinese hand cannons are also one of those units that are just built differently with all that extra range. It's going to be really, really nice and easy for them to take down enemy units. And now Imperial Palace coming as well. Yuan Dynasty about to complete here, and now B also notices, hey, there's the Great Wall Gatehouse.
Yeah, it's so weird when China's able to do this. You feel like they're behind and struggling, and then they're like, yeah, I'm also going to Imp, and I'm also going to go Imperial Palace and go Yuan. You're like, what? I thought you were behind and losing, but it's just Chinese eco still so strong. Villagers pulled to try to deal with some of these rams. 3DB doesn't care about losing these vills, as if you take a little glance up at the top, he's got, I would say, a little bit of an overboom going on.
Yeah, definitely a really good resource bank for him right now as well. Lots of villagers, lots of eco units. Traders are included in there for him right now. He's gonna need to find a way of getting rid of that gatehouse though, or just getting past it on some of the other flanks there. But just it being in the middle, it's such a big thing to go around and move around, and it's really tough to maneuver around that because its range is also really, really big.
Villagers pulled yet again to try to deal with that ram, and this is just going to be that slow play back and forth dealing with that keep. But I think Wham should eventually be able to clear that up. The key for him, though, is he going to be able to do something here on this front side, clearing up this little bit of proxy base and letting that Great Wall Gatehouse do its thing?
I think Wham definitely needs to trade at some point here now. Yeah, just setting up trade here sometime soon. Oh, that's a lot of damage once again from the Great Gatehouse, and Bombards being a little bit exposed. Corbin going down as well, and looking at the military right now for B, he just doesn't have any. That
was not the fight he wanted to take, was not in a good positioning point. He's trying to build stone walls for himself in the middle. Wham spots it out before the walls go up. Palace Guard's running, Palace Guard's into the eco. Not only that, there's hand cannoneers as well, so walls shouldn't go up at any point in time soon.
He doesn't have a lot of gold income right now. He's got the trade, but it takes a long time for it to return right now. And some of the Nest of Bees are taken down, but Great Wall Gatehouse is able to take a big shot on these knights there together with the hand cannoneers. Takes a lot of them down. Right now, B is investing a lot into horsemen. He does have the bank for it, but are horsemen really going to be enough here right now? Because Wham is also going for fire lancers, and the walls aren't complete yet.
He's so overboomed right now. Finally starting to lead villagers. He's down to 130. He realizes the overboom. Immediately going to be able to remass up with a ton of horsemen. And those horsemen, they're coming out fast. All of a sudden, we blink, he's up to 20.
Yeah, he must be Golden Age 3 now, because with Golden Age 3, you also further reduce the time that it takes to train your units. Together with the upgrade from Blacksmith, it means that you can produce your units insanely quickly, and there it is. Yeah, Tier 3 has come in, so production speed plus 20% for him. Means that the units are being produced incredibly quickly, and I hope the stone walls are getting complete here soon, because Fire Lancers without stone walls, there's a gap.
There is a gap, and they're going to take down that bombard and then probably try to head towards to some eco, which B just deleted some of his eco, but wham! He's in a really nice timing now for himself and feels really good, especially considering where he was earlier.
Now we have to ask ourselves, did B just maybe wait too long? Were his engagements just a little bit too inefficient early on? I mean, inefficient they definitely were, and yeah, now he's struggling all of a sudden.
Struggling and struggling harder and harder. Wouldn't be surprised to see Wham maybe try to drop some trade and go into some trade behind this now that his base is fully secured again. Making sure these walls don't finish, at least for this time. Nesta Bees could be helping a little bit, but B is the one who seems to be losing these units.
Yeah, he is, and Camel support hasn't come in yet, so these hand grenades, they don't get any bonus armor. Now keep being dropped here in the front. B definitely needs that gold access. Gold is the one resource he doesn't have a lot of right now. Hand grenades slowly but surely are starting to push out here. B might be able to stabilize here more and more. Horseman raids coming in from the side, going for the siege, going for the nest of B now. Yeah. And now B is pushing out.
Yeah, B has more than enough food income, more than enough production. He's starting to push out from this location and secure the walls for himself. Nesta Beast just chilling, watching. And the gold income has come fully online for 3DB, and you can see it just because of that trade route.
At the same time, looking over on the neutral market from Wham, it looks like Wham has finally started putting down some of his own markets, so there's going to be a trade coming in really soon from him, and yeah, that's a lot of traders on B. Now, he still hasn't retasked the initial traders from the House of Wisdom, so there's still 5 traders that are only gathering like 20 resources whenever they return, and yeah, 30 resources right now. But still, in the late game, the trade from the Ambassador is going to be way better than the trade from the Chinese with the trade wing.
Yeah, absolutely. So Wham kind of feeling like himself on a clock, but he will have the stronger, better siege with the clock tower and have access to those fire lancers. Spring will step up, trying to take down that bombard, but not able to do so.
Yeah, the university upgrade already in for these bombards, meaning that they're super tanky right now. Not too tanky that fire lances can't take them down, but they're still, it's a great deal. Just having that upgrade means that it takes a lot more shots on them in order to take them down, and military just posturing right now in front of each other. But oh, that was mostly a move command, not an attack command there. Now attacking from B. Hand cannon is doing a good job here against the units there. Culverins taking down or trying to take down the Springles, but the Springle mass just taking good engagements here, and Culverins are taken down.
Yeah, Culverins get taken down, but Camel Riders started to mass up. Such a strong unit, hard unit to deal with. Abba, I mean, I feel like it's one of those that you don't see him much until it gets into late game, and then you'll start to see Camels coming out a little more.
I'm not sure about Camel Rider specifically in this one, but Camel Archers would definitely do a lot here, especially since they don't cost any gold, but yeah, they're a little bit heavier on the wood, especially in these later stages of the game. Especially on a map like this, wood is so hard to come by. B obviously having the great advantage here that with Tithe Bonds, with his trade, he's gonna add. Oh my! Look at the tax that's trapped inside of these granaries. There's like half a gold mine in there.
Exactly that. Absolutely wild on how much tax can just start generating and go unnoticed once you don't have an IO out and grabbing it on up. And look at 3DB just trying to start spamming these outposts all around the map to provide vision and provide map control.
Yeah, I mean, B, he's popped right now. He should definitely think about doing something here soon out of the map. He has 2 Culverins again, and he's got bombards, but Bombards and Culverins, you're never going to be able to take down the Great Wall Gatehouse with that composition. Now he finally grabbed camel support, so all of these hand cannons they're glowing right now, they have a lot of bonus armor, means that they can actually like tank a great deal of hits from the Spearmen as well. It's similar to like how we saw the Arbalest in one of our games today, just being able to absolutely tank all the melee units here. Now the hand cannoneers from China, they're still really strong when it comes to the range, so still gonna be really tough for B to take any positive engagements here right now.
Yeah, and that hand cannoneer mass, not something to be joked around about. Both players still heavy onto the eco and just trading so many of these resources back and forth with these militaries in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, both players still have a really great eco bank. Aside from Wham, his gold isn't looking too good right now. And I'm not seeing like this big conga line of traders right now out on the map, so looks like he hasn't been able to scale his trade at all yet, and that's really concerning at the moment.
Yeah, he is building an additional set of walls in, but additional set of walls doesn't matter when you're not trading still yet. He's actually grabbing the gold under that Great Wall Gatehouse, maybe fine with taking some trades, losing some of these vills maybe for a better military fight, but he needs that gold and needs that gold so bad.
Maybe he just wants the gold in order to finally be able to afford some traders here, but he needs to make something happen soon here. Now he still has a lot of the hand cannons left here, and with you and Dynasty, not only do they have more range, they're also faster, so kiting with them is quite easy, and B has to be careful here not to lose his hand cannoneer mass.
Not only the hand cannoneer mass, those hand cannoneers, they're so strong, they can start stepping up and just sniping down those culverins as well.
Yeah, exactly. Now the Culverins with the siege works, actually they are able to tank quite a lot of these hits. They get like 30 armor. So yeah, looking at that, the hand cannoneers, they don't do too much damage to them right now.
We saw one of the culverins get taken down, but looks like that siege mass starting to break through the side of Wham. Wham has a hole in the wall, and the walls don't matter when you have holes in them. Camel Riders look like they are running, looking like they are about to break through.
Speaking of holes in the wall, it looks like Wham was also making some holes on that side, and now he has the option of sending Fire Lancers into the economy for B.
Yeah, and B, he cannot let that go unnoticed. Wham actually has more of the military mass, so might be able to hold this while also raiding on the other side, and B, looking like he might need to fall back from this front location.
Wham should pull the hand cannons on top of the wall. With the Great Wall Gatehouse, it actually provides you with another bonus. It means that all your units on walls actually deal like 25% more damage. If he just pulls the hand cannons on top of the walls, not only does he get +2 range, which means that the hand cannons are gonna have 7.5 tiles range, they're gonna be doing a ton of damage as well.
Yeah, but still able to hold this location while still streaming Fire Lancers through. That was the big gap in what Wham was doing this whole time. He needed a way in. He needed to do these Fire Lancer run-bys because that is the true power of China late game.
Yeah, now the traders are really cheap for 3DB with the Bassett. They only cost 80 resources each, but still, it's a lot of resources that are being denied here right now for him. But looks like he's taking a small break here from killing the traders in there. He's gonna run further into the economy.
All the culverins just got taken down. Bombards have to fall back. Wall's gonna be rebuilt, and Wham resecures his side while also blowing apart 3DB.
Now defensive emplacement should be able, with the reinforcement, to keep the middle at least somewhat safe here now for B. But all of these raids right now, they really hurt B. It means that he's going to have to reinvest into villagers. Now that's not too expensive for him, but obviously still annoying, and especially the idle time that he can cause some time is really hard. But at least the Camel Riders, they do have a good amount of movement speed. Now they're still not as fast as these Fire Lancers with the Yuan Dynasty, but if they catch up, they're going to be able to deal a good amount of damage to them, and as long as they're in range, they also debuff them. It means that it takes a little bit longer for these Fire Lancers to kill the villagers.
Yeah, but all this time, Wham, if he has all those Camel Riders chasing his Fire Lancers in B's economy, that means he's breaking back past this front side of the base. He's breaking out of his walls. He has held his side and probably has a little smile on his face.
Wham's looking really solid right now. I feel like at some point maybe we should be seeing B opting into another unit rather than just these camels right now. At least not the melee camels. Should go for the camel archers instead of the camel riders, because there's so many spears out on the field right now for Wham, and the camel archers, they actually deal a lot of bonus damage to the spearmen, so would be a way for him to clean it up. And it looks like trade is still going strong right now for B.
Yeah, and I think the big worry is going to be running out of wood, whereas B still can get a secondary resource with his trade. Wham not going to be able to get that, and so wood lines starting to run thin. I think he's even chopped through and provided a hole on his other side of the map.
Exactly, now keeping built in the middle here for B. Now with Tithe Bonds, you get a lot of passive resources. It looks like Wham, the one relic that he does have, he did put it inside of a pagoda. So he is getting 50 stone passively per minute. 3B with Tithe Bonds, and on 4 relics is getting 120. So yeah, Tithe Bonds not quite as good as the pagodas, but just the relic advantage for B right now and allowing him to place that key. But units from Wham pushing forward.
Yeah, this
dangerous here.
This keep looking like it's about to end up going up and kind of securing this position that Wham wanted to be able to push back. Fire Lancer's not able to break back through. I think wall got rebuilt, and Wham, I think both sides are about to be just fully out of their wood lines.
Once again, a hole here has been opened by Wham, and he's sending Fire Lancers in again. Camel Riders are getting taken down here by the spears, which have also been sent forward, and Culverins going a little bit too far in again.
Culverins.
Needs to be careful. That's expensive. That's so expensive. Oh,
2 get taken down, not quite the 3rd, so still keeps his siege superiority, but Wham, oddly, not doing the Chinese thing in massing siege. He's just Fire Lancers and hand cannons.
I mean, if it works, it works. Definitely seems to be working here for him right now with the Fire Lancer spam always into the economy now. I'm not sure how much trade he's got going here behind this, but the tax is definitely working well for him right now.
Yeah, I think he is still on that gold vein. He's just now starting up the trade. 20 traders active, so nothing too crazy, nothing too 3DB's numbers. And as we keep talking about ABBA, they're going to have that better trade.
Once again, B managed to keep his trade alive there, manages to re-wall once again, but still, this is a dangerous position for him. And finally, we do see the Camel Archers coming in, so Camel Archers going to be able to deal quite nicely here with the Spearmen on the side of Wham. And in mass, they also have a ton of HP. And once you get to them in mass, they can also deal quite well with the hand cannoneers.
Yeah, I just feel like Wham is slowly going to lose favor in this game just due to the strength of the ABBA trade and losing vital resources that he can't get anymore.
Yeah, it just feels like B right now is a little bit struggling in this late game situation with just splitting his attention across all of these different angles of attack that are happening. Once again, Wham is sending a single ram in, wants to open up a hole, and then he's going to be sending all of his military, all the Fire Lancers in. It just takes so much attention away from B, and I mean B, he's still sitting on a lot of pop blockage right now, just due to all of the eco units and also the siege. It all mixes in together and means that B he just doesn't have a lot of a lot of population slots left for army.
What is Wham dropping that lumber camp for? The 2 trees?
Every little bit matters here at this point in time. I mean, as the game goes on, Wham is going to be the one that's going to run out of wood here. Wham has no way of artificially creating wood. He's going to need to buy it with trade.
Yeah, and that's where I was saying B is going to have that advantage just because of ABBA trade. Wham, not able to get any more stone, not able to get any more wood.
Now B is actually starting to invest into some really high-cost units. He's starting to spam out a lot of these Lancers now as well.
Yeah, hard for Wham to deal with that as you're starting to see. I think I saw an Archer come out for Wham. Maybe it was a misclip, maybe it was an accident, but not going to be able to keep up with the amount of income that B has. I mean, B's getting close to wonder resources in the bank.
Yeah, exactly. Still difficult with that Great Wall Gatehouse in the middle, though. He does have a lot of bombards, but bombards?
They get two shot by it. Oh, the Ville's there to heal it up, though.
He's splitting them apart, though. He's making sure that the Great Wall Gatehouse can't take them all out at once.
And if he gets this Great Wall Gatehouse down, this was such a big protective mass for Wham. There's 3 cannons behind it for Wham. The Lancers circle. They're on top of the cannons now. That's so many resources. We saw how much he's struggling for wood. These are so high wood cost units into the bank, and it goes down.
The Bombard survived with just a little bit of HP. Accidentally played here by B, and he managed to take the Great Wall Gatehouse down with 3 Bombards right now. And Wham, he's struggling to reinforce. I mean, all the Spearmen, they cost wood. And what do you not have anymore in this game? It's wood.
Yep, the Great Wall Gatehouse goes down. 3 Bombards that he put out go down, and now he is staring not at 3 Bombards, he's staring at 5 Bombards coming down to his base, knocking on the doorstep. First, they're going to absolutely shatter this Imperial Palace, and not too much longer left in this game, it seems like, for Wham, as his resources are running thin.
Just what it gets to in these layer stages. Oh, Springles are able to take 1 Bombard down. B not moving bad. I mean, the Great Wall Gatehouse, it's really weird sometimes the way it interacts. You can't actually walk through it when it's destroyed.
Yeah, I guess it's a landmark, so you have to walk around it, but it's a gatehouse, so it's weird being able to be saying that and kind of the interactions on how it works. But 3DB clears up this little front line mass. Wham's non-stop producing, non-stop sending in units, holding this position, trying to do the best he can, and the hand cannoneers are really going to be that line in the sand for him.
Wham, he still has a lot of hand cannons left, still has a little bit of fight left in him. I mean, he can still make a composition of hand cannoneers as well as men-at-arms. But still, the numbers are really not in his favor right now. Needs to be careful not to lose this hand cannoneer mass right now.
Yeah, if he loses this hand cannoneer mass, so hard for him to replace. His trade has started to come online, but just nowhere close to 3DBs. 6 Springlets into the mix. Villagers starting to move forward for 3DB and sneak it on through.
This is really tough right now. Wham, it looks like he actually bought wood, perhaps? He suddenly has a good bank of wood right now again. And
there was 1 wood line on the backside.
All right, so he still has some wood left, and he's starting to repair the Great Wall Gatehouse. Wood did finally run out, though, but there's still one wood line left.
One little small force for himself. B has those same 2 small forests on his side, so it is fair. It is even on either side. Springles move up. They're starting to snipe down those cannons. There's culverins here to trade on the other side, but so many Springles, B has to fall back until his camels can try to close the gap.
Yeah, just the Springles shooting faster. I mean that they're able to outtrade the culverins here, and now some camel riders are starting to take down a lot of these Springles, but hand cannoneers do a good job of killing them. It's gonna end up being a roughly even trade, I would say, but obviously with wood being so expensive in the later stages of the game, you never want to lose those Springles.
Oof, this is just becoming a struggle point. I think B got an outpost down on the sacred site inside of Wham's eco and might be able to get some upgrades and stop Wham's trade.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the trade behind all of this time, look at this, the wood bank that B has managed to build here throughout this game. But yeah, outposts now coming up from B in the base of Wham, and
yeah, second one coming on up.
Really,
I think
really
first one's getting a cannon placement on it already.
Wait, the Great Wall... Oh, it's not repaired yet fully, okay.
It's
that's the keep!
Oh my god. He spots the outpost, but doesn't spot the keep yet. And not only is that keep going up on the trade, the keep's going up on his last wood line as well.
Bombard's making sure that Great Wall Gatehouse is not getting repaired anytime soon here. Hand cannoneers doing a good job here of dealing with the hand cannoneers from 3DB. But the keep slowly but surely is going up.
No reaction yet from Wham. He has military close that just burnt down that outpost. Needs to hurry and really quickly react to that keep, or that could just be the huge differentiating factor. Be able to remass back up his military.
There we go.
He sees it. Is it going to be enough?
Okay. It should be. I hope.
It's only 6 vills there. He should be able to clear this.
That should be a cleanup. That's so close, though. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, he cleans it up.
Just in time.
Close.
Oh, Wham. Able to spot it out just in time. So very, very crucial for him. And B, though, still remassing back up on this front side. Has not been has not kind of found the spot to fully break through and end this game yet.
Oh man, this game has been going on for quite a while, and Wham has been able to hold excellently here so far, and is gonna be able to continue holding up. I don't want to say that potentially we could be seeing Ming Dynasty here and then some Grenadiers, but just looking at the wood count from Wham, it's just not realistic because Grenadiers actually cost like 80 wood each.
Mangonel gets quickly chased down by those spears. Hand Cannoneers, some of them actually jumped on top of the wall for a bit, but yet again, pushing back. Culverin's trading out against the Springalds, able to pick up another couple, and Villagers trying to drop a keep right here on this front side.
It's not gonna be happening. Villagers are getting taken down, but at this point in time, 3DB can be happy when he loses Villagers because he definitely needs to lose some of them right now. Look at that, 60 traders right now for 3DB. Meaning the entire other 60 villagers are probably gonna be gathering food for him right now. Aside from the couple building the keep here. But yeah, eco back, looking solid for him.
Yeah, it's starting to drop for Wham. Wham's struggling to keep up to max population, and keep will be going up at least for the time being. Wham can try to hop on top of those walls. There it is.
Units are starting to glow now on the walls. Should also be able to take down the mangonels here quite quickly.
Yeah, this is one of those things that I feel like I never really realized how strong units on top of walls are until it starts happening, and then you're like, why don't people do this more?
Yeah, they take 66% less damage, and Great Wall Gatehouse has been repaired now in the meantime. Looks like Wham once again wants to go for a couple of pushes onto the flanks of B, try to once again harass the trade, but look at the resource bank from B. He doesn't mind if his trade is idle for 1 or 2 minutes.
He has 5k food, 5k gold per minute. Like, oh my god.
He is looking comfortable in this game, I'll just say that.
Yeah, Wham needs to do something to deal with the trade. If he stops the trade, then that is what would deny 3DB's main and really only ability to stay in this game. And trying to send some more Rams in to break through the wall, but we'll need a lot more Fire Lancers than that.
Behind all of this, Wham has been able to stay on 2 sacred sides, so at least he's been getting some resources through that. And that pagoda, that single pagoda, also paid off for itself multiple times with the added stone income that Wham has had this game.
Yeah, we kind of joked around about it earlier on how necessary they would be, but we knew this game was going to extend to late. It's just typically the way China Ava plays, and this is exactly what's going on. 3DB has seeming like he's been about to break through, but just hasn't been able to do it. Will this finally be his point? It doesn't seem like it as Wham. He's got plenty of resources in the bank again himself.
If that wall breaks and B puts his units on top of the walls, that could be disaster for Wham.
And if the wall breaks, that wall is going to be breaking with the next cannon shot. It goes down. Hand Cannoneers don't step up to it. They want to protect the siege first. Let those mangonels fire down on the Hand Cannoneers on the opposite side. But this could be the breaking point.
Hand cannon numbers now looking not so nice for B here when compared to the ones from Wham. And now Wham is switching into Palace Guards instead of the Spearmen that he was going for earlier. Palace Guard having the benefit of being quite a bit faster. Really, really speedy units. Also a good bit tankier.
I feel like this is the point when you have this many resources, like for 3DB, that like deleting another 20 vills or traders, if it's only traders now, is better because then you can get like 100 military mass and actually just win this fight and steamroll it. And your opponent can't actually hold and can't actually do this hold when you're just trickling in units.
Can we also take a quick look before this next fight breaks out at the granaries from Wham? How much tax is inside of them?
I'm guessing in the thousands.
Maybe, potentially. Oh, 1,400, 2,300. Yeah, that's a large gold weight almost. Holy. That's a lot of Covrans there in the middle. Firing off at the units here from Wham.
5 culverins. It is now fully focused in on this siege where 3DB is. He wants to not allow Wham to have any sort of siege and then make sure to protect his own up and move this line in the sand forward with his outpost, not allow the wall to be rebuilt, and just absolutely shredded all this military. Trader's about to be vulnerable as well on Wham's side.
The walls, just go on the walls with the hand cannoneers, but no, he lets them die. I mean, on the walls, the culverins take like 4 shots to take a hand cannoneer.
Listen!
And then B does it. B does it instead. Oh, this is rough.
This is just
take less damage.
So many cannon shots. All we hear is all the fire from these gunpowder units just taking down each other, taking down everything they can and attempt to. But will it finally be the breakthrough, or will Wham potentially be able to break out of this and hold?
Oh my god, and what a massacre right now. Just units. It's an endless meat grinder here between these two players right now. I'm just worried when it comes to like exhaustion of the players, because it's getting later and later into the day. This game is almost an hour long now, and this is still a best of 5. There's still gonna be more games after this one in this set alone, and after we still have 2 more sets.
Yeah, and B finally gets another outpost up, getting another one down. There's no way that cannon's going to be able to move forward for Wham, and still has another hand cannoneer mass on the walls. This is starting to look bad as the trade. It has to move around to be able to actually drop off for Wham, and cannot move forward and have this efficient drop off.
Oh boy, this is such a bad position now for Wham. The walls, he can't delete them when the enemy units are so close to them, and now it means that he's going to be in position to push on top of enemy units that can go on top of walls. And B is also doing a great job of focusing the culverins to focus the hand cannoneers each individually, but now, actually, camera riders focusing the trade, and all the siege is starting to get taken down here from B.
Yeah, I'm not sure if focusing that trade was the smart idea. It will hurt Wham in the long run, as Wham, he's under 1,000 resources into the bank, but still has this mass forward pushing 3DB back. Camels just need to circle, try to find more and more damage in the eco if that's what his plan's going to be.
Oh man, these games right now are rough, right? Oh my god. Oh, this is just such an endless meat grinder right now. B trying to keep prodding at the same spot time and time again, trying to make something happen here. But Wham every time pushes B back, but the resource bank from B just keeps rising and rising and rising. And if B hadn't invested into all of these cannon emplacement outposts here, I would say that B should definitely be going for a wonder here at some point soon.
Yeah, I mean, the cannon in place outposts here up front just make this fight so easy. It makes it whenever he loses his front line, he doesn't have to worry about his siege as much. He's just like, yeah, I have more units coming in and I'll just fall back. Finally get some units on top of these granaries, and Wham will have to try to mass up units to go deal with this, which will just allow a wide open hole on this front side.
It's about time for some of these raids to happen. Both players sitting at more than 4,000 food per minute currently, and I mean, B's composition is very, very expensive. He's going for hand cannoneers and lancers versus Wham, who's going for hand cannoneers and palace guards. Wham kind of going for the budget version of the same composition, sort of. And yeah, okay, manages to keep his base defended. The palace guards being almost as fast as his knights means that he's going to have no problem with keeping up with them, making sure that the raids aren't going to be happening too big here. And do we see hand cannoneers go to walls this time? Please?
No, still not.
All right.
One of the things that I feel like 3DB is definitely lacking in is just the closer production. Like, behind all these cannon outposts, he could just have stables. He could just have ranges or whatever he needs to immediately have these units ready to go. Instead, he has to wait so much time for that trickle. You can see the orange lines coming across from behind his walls.
Yeah, exactly. It's, I mean, it is expensive in the wood count, but looking at the wood that B has, he can afford it. Like, that's just such a long way for these units to walk all the way over to Wham's base right now.
Not sure where the culverin number went. It absolutely disappeared. Cannons, only one out on either side, but that's a benefit for Wham as he's taken down 3 cannon outposts and he's about to take out another one now.
Cannon outposts taking on quite a lot of these hand cannoneers with him though, and I mean, hand cannoneers, they're really, really expensive. Taking down 2-3 hand cannoneers already pays for that entire outpost pretty much with the emplacements.
Cannon, though, taking out that next outpost, and B is actually the one who is starting to fall back, which is weird considering the bank that he had. I mean, he's got the food income, he's got everything going for him, he's just not winning the fights like he needs to.
It's just a meat shield from Wham, it's always there when he needs it, and now, once again, we do see the hand cannoneers pushing forward, but it's so difficult, right? It's just so much easier for Wham to micro the hand cannoneers because they have more range and are just faster with the Yuan Dynasty. But now, B actually got a good bunch of kills on those hand cannoneers, and hand cannoneers are really hard for Wham to reproduce constantly, but I mean, the trade is also going for Wham, and he's sitting at 3,000 gold per minute somehow currently.
It looks like Wham is finally starting to falter. He's at 160 total units and has 8 gold in the bank. This has been the breaking point, but B, he's not closing the gap. He's remassing up and thinking, you know, he still needs to continue to do some more of this.
At this point, I feel like Wham should just drop TCs next to the granaries, next to the neutral market in the corner.
Is it.
Okay, it looks like B has had enough. It's gonna be Ram time. Ram o'clock, everybody, and I mean, Rams, fire lancers can take them down, but fire lancers do cost wood, and what does Wham not have? It's wood, and Wham now trying to re-wall here with a little bit of stone that he is getting from the one relic in the pagoda that he has, and the re-rolls are happening. It'll be interesting to see if the Rams can break through here, or if maybe they get taken down by the Palace Guards in time.
Oh my gosh, the whole eastern side has been open this whole time through that wood line. 3DB just hasn't noticed yet.
I mean, there's the Great Wall Gatehouse there. You don't want to push from that angle, but yeah, that's definitely would have been a really, really good point to attack here from B, and especially it's so much worse considering that that's where the entire food economy is.
You could just run a horseman, just as you don't care, you have plenty of food in the bank. Knights have, actually, because you got gold now. Just run them directly into the granary ecos, idle them out the best you can. But look at this, he's pushing back in, but splitting the Rams out on the other side to provide another hole for himself. And oh my gosh, Wham finally listened. He went hand cannoneers. Never mind, they were just walking through.
All right, time to recline my chair a little bit longer as we're getting into the second hour of this match here between 3DB and Wham. Leaning back a little bit further here. Oh, Rams coming in through the side at the corner here, starting to destroy some of the markets. Makes it harder for Wham to reproduce his traders should they go down.
I mean, Wham's already struggling to reproduce his traders if you think about it. They cost wood to reproduce, and what's he not have? It's wood.
He doesn't have any wood at all. He just used 2 sprinklers. That's his entire wood bank down the drain. And I mean, honestly, if Wham loses this, if he ever looks at anything in this game to learn of anything from it, look no further than the granaries and the amount of text residing in them.
Jeez.
Wait. I mean, in theory, what is one way to securely win a game against Abbasid in these late stages of the game?
Fire Lancer Landmark Snipe. Yeah.
Exactly. And I mean, Wham, he could trade out half of it. Oh, never mind, it's rerolled. Never mind.
And
that's happening.
The key thing here is now all these Rams, they're going to pay for themselves so many times over because everything they take down is wood heavy. If he kills those 2 villages we're looking at now, Wham can't rebuild those.
Ooh, he's going to be pop cap. Oh no. Hand cannon is also going down here in the front side. Palace Guards, where are they? Are they pushing through at least?
They are pushing through. They have finally broken through, but B has so many resources in the bank. I don't think he cares. He could let all of his all of his eco die and still reboom and be fine. Wham, he's at 160, 160. There it is.
120 about to be. 120, he can't rebuild him. Oh no. The mass is dropping so quickly.
He's trying to build houses. He just doesn't have the wood to build anything else. You can see it. He's got to buy wood, but barely has the gold to do so. He's through on the other side, but his is getting cleaned up so much faster, and he just can't deal with these Rams. More houses, not the houses.
Oh my god, the population space now doing Wham in, and I mean, he does have a great mass right now, still, when it comes to military. Managed to push back B here, but what do you do right now if you're in Wham's position? It's so tough. I feel like you have no other option than to go and like just try to mass as many fire lines as possible and go for that landmark snipe victory. It's tough though because your opponent makes a lot of camel riders and they naturally counters. Looks like we found that there's a slight gap in there in the wall.
And I think we might finally start to see the beginning of the end. Trade has been denied. Wham can no longer get gold, can no longer get wood. All he can make is going to be scouts.
Yeah. Scouts, and I mean, it's so sad looking at the granaries, looking just how much tax is inside of those granaries, and there's just no real way for Wham to access that right now. He needs a TC close to that as a drop-off building, and just not having that means that there's a maximum range for these Imperial officials to gather tax from, and the granaries are just outside of it.
Yeah, it just, you know, Wham needs to hire some better officials, needs to hammer down on his citizens and get that tax money in the bank. But
4,000 tax in the market. No active traders though anymore.
Oh, 0 active traders. We saw 3DB dropping a keep on that opposite side market. That keep should be going up, and there's already a keep next to the sacred site, which if he denies that sacred site, that's a good bit of gold as well.
Yeah, keep has gone up. Now it's going to be firing on top of all the hand cannons. Really expensive units here for Wham that he can't really afford to lose. It's also an issue, like we looked at the raids that were coming in from Wham in B earlier, and that just goes to show like the Abyssal trade with the +5 armor on them, it's so tough to raid.
Oh yeah, and he had camels at least being able to deal with them rather than some of these slower units on the other side. Wham forced to just get as much gold as he could with that traders. I think he realized he needed something, but the target market is being burnt, and if that goes, it is definitely over.
Oh man. I mean, he is able to force this back. Another bombard is going out. First keep is gonna get taken down. Second keep is now gonna start getting siege, but the market in the corner is also under attack, and he has no wood to rebuild at all. No gold as well, not to buy wood. This is just GG. This has to be. Look at the bank from B. 14k gold right now.
What a game, and we are finally seeing the end of it, and I feel like we've said it a lot, but this is the end. Wham, he has no way to produce other units, so this is his final, last line of defense. Will this be enough for him to hold, or will B finally take this long, drawn-out game number 2 to just have another one right behind it?
At some point, like, Wham actually had to make some crossbows just because he didn't have the gold in order to keep sustaining the hand cannoneers that he's been making, and yeah, now he doesn't even have the gold to make more palace guards, and sure, he takes on the keep, but all of his units do go down here, and surely this has to be it. This has to be the moment that Wham knows he cannot take this game away from B. It's just too far gone at this point in time. He's sitting on 82 villagers right now. So B must have gotten a ton of villager kills overall there in the bank on the granaries as well, next to all of these traders that he's already killed. 158 workers killed by B, 137 workers killed by Wham. But now Wham has to retreat. He's lost the fight here and is not going to be able to recapture that that neutral trading post right there.
Absolutely nuts game from beginning to end, just headbutting each other over and over and over again until one of them finally knocked the other out, and it seems like Wham is about to get knocked out here.
It looks like Wham has been gathering at least from one of these granaries, so when you build TCs close to that, you're able to minimize the walking distance there, and then it starts actually getting to the point where you're able to take the taxes out quicker than the taxes coming in. Also, something that you can do is you can make a couple more mills around the granaries as well, just to have more drop-off points, get more tax that way. And we can see that Wham still has a couple hundred gold per minute right now in income, probably all just due to tax, but it also becomes an issue of just not being able to generate tax with your military buildings because you're not able to produce military right now. And we see the Palace Guards just hammering their heads against the camels right now. They also don't do as much damage to the hand cannoneers due to boot camp, due to the camel support armor upgrade as well. And finally, Wham knows, he calls it. He throws in the towel, and B takes this game. Here we go. All right. That was a long one.
What a long one indeed. An hour and 9 minutes back and forth. But B proves to hold strong, proves to be the victor, and take it on to now have potential match point to get him to the next series.